So, Book of Life. I'm just waiting for the review from Amazon. I've panned it out a little bit more. You know, could make this book so thick, but trying to deliver the concepts in a rational and reasonable way to understand, using some of the terms of modern neuroscience, and understanding the way the neurochemicals work in our bodies, the neurotransmitters, and how they attain to love or fear, halal or haram, good or bad, health building or not. So yeah, so I've got the life cycle in here. I've got the way the cell works, the concept of time, the New Jerusalem as a mindset for healing. Got the 7 spirits of God as discerned from Revelation 2 and 3, the messages to the 7 congregations, and they actually form the cover of this book on the front. Yes, I'll read some of that from you. I'll give you the back blurb. The Book of Life could also be called the Book of Love. Discerned from bringing together the wisdom and teachings of the Holy Scriptures with the physiology of our body's autonomic nervous system, healing can occur just as in the twinkling of an eye. By creating a naturally occurring endorphin blood in us, we can attain to Nadamide, I had to do a spell check there, which is the bliss molecule for rapture or heaven on earth. And that's attaining to that state of bliss through love made whole in our bodies, by living an altruistic life, by giving, by sharing, by creating love in everywhere we go, everything we do, not exploiting another person. Yeah, all of that. So the image on the front of the book represents the 7 spirits of love discerned from the Book of Revelation's messages to the 7 congregations, and also reflects the chakra system of the body used in energy and healing work. Of course, some religious people are opposed to complementary therapies and some of what they term as New Age, but we need to look at what it's doing in the body and what it represents. And healing occurs on an energetic level, just as illness occurs on an energetic level first. And actually I think that the emotions determine the electromagnetic field of our body hugely, and that again is what Scripture's talking about. Galatians 5, where it contrasts the traits of the flesh with the fruits of the spirit, gives a very clear definition between the stress hormones and the love hormones. And it really is very simple, doesn't need to be complex. So the Book of Life shows how stress and fear are the antithesis of love in our bodies, perhaps even the Antichrist, as all sin, fear and stress falls short of the glory of love. So discerned from the gemstones and the sons of Israel sighted at the holy city at Revelation 21, the New Jerusalem, a conscious healing process is revealed for creating love as a positive state of being. So in terms of counsel, in terms of reason, in terms of forgiveness, in terms of acknowledging a wrong, acknowledging our truths, because only the truth will set us free. You know, how we really are is how we feel inside, and if we're covering up a stress or trauma, abuse, then you know, if we're not, we haven't counselled and processed that and forgiven, then we're living a lie. Our defence mechanisms are active, and life isn't as it's meant to be. And of course, love, who is God, says, do not do these things in the first place, you know. Come on, men, be gentlemen. Get back to the old-fashioned ways of courtship, of excitement, expectation, Romance, manners make us man. There's so much joy and beauty in that courtship, as opposed to just the instant gratification that seems to be the way of many people today, leaving people empty with nothing and no value to another person and another person's feelings, and love not being sustainable in the way that it can be, it should be. Some people might call me a hopeless romantic fool, but I do believe in that. So, here we go. Revelation, the holy city, New Jerusalem, Zion, 144,000 thoughts sealed for the healing and creating love, made positive and whole for the light of understanding love, with reason for conscious enlightenment of positive love, for peace within and peace without, for removing pain and a healing of all nations as promised. I shall prove to be what I prove to be. Exodus 3:14. Love. God is love. Let love conquer fear with God's love made whole in us. Fear and sin activate the autonomic nervous system stress response. Sin is anti to Christ's love. Love is not a cortisol, but the end, the natural endorphin release in us from loving the love of good, the love of God, as reasoned in this book of life. We are changed just as in the twinkling of an eye. 1 Corinthians 15:51. The river of water of life, clear as crystal, trees of life producing 12 crops of fruit for the Spirit to be made whole for a curing of the nations. Revelation 22. Yes, he is coming quickly. Come, Lord Jesus, come. Nation will not lift up sword against nation, neither will they learn war any more. Let thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Amen. So it's about having the courage to turn away from sin, to seek the happiness, believe that we will have that fulfillment of love in all its forms, in relationships with others and in personal relationships. To find happiness and peace within, peace without, peace with others. And of course we have wrestlings between what's the right and the wrong way. That happens all the time. And we do make mistakes. And when mistakes are made, we have to forgive and understand. We have to listen. We have to actively listen to another's feelings and stick to what we know is the right thing in order to get the reward, to get the heavenly reward, to get the endorphin. The endorphin, it is like a shot of heroin. It's that, it's that peace and love that surpasses everything. And of course, we can have it in drug and poppies and opium, but that's not sustainable, and that becomes an addiction, and that addiction rules us and actually destroys the body. Whereas if we live altruistically, we can produce that endorphin hit within ourselves. And I was listening to, I think it was Denzel Washington's YouTube talk, and he said, to be kind and selfless and giving to others is the most selfish thing we could do. And I had to